Hey guys, Pastor Parker back with another reality check. Just want to remind you, we are having in-person services only in the main service. We're not sure yet when student ministry is going to start back up, but make sure you follow us, make sure you're paying attention because we're going to give you updates as soon as we know. When we think back on dumb things we've done, which I know some of you have probably done just as many dumb things as I have, or bad decisions that we've made, stupid things we've said, our thought is, never again. I'll never do that again. I'll never say that again. I may make other mistakes, but never that one. Not me. I'll never do it again. Now, those are important decisions. I don't want to be the fool who keeps repeating the same mistakes. Every day, I want to get a little bit smarter and a little bit better. We are changed by big moments in our life. And I want to look with you at a guy who had an amazing day and what looked like a really dumb move that paid off big time. The story is found in Mark 2, and the setting is Capernaum, Jesus' home base for his ministry. It says a few days later, when Jesus again entered Capernaum, the people heard that he had come. Now, how did they hear? Now, there wasn't TV back then. There wasn't the internet. There wasn't social media or cell phones. We don't really know, but somehow word got around. And it keeps going. It says, so many gathered that there was no room left, not even outside the door. And he preached the word to them. Now, why was there such a big crowd? Because the last time Jesus was in town, it was insane. It was amazing. People were healed. People were set free. People packed inside the house where Jesus was teaching. Meanwhile, somewhere nearby, some guys heard Jesus was in town and decided to take their paralyzed friend to be healed. Now, they put him on a cot or a stretcher, maybe even his mat, and they carried him to Jesus. And the verse says, some men came bringing to him a paralytic, carried by 4 of them. Since they could not get him to Jesus because of the crowd, they made an opening in the roof above Jesus, and after digging through it, lowered the mat the paralyzed man was lying on. Wow! That's a really dumb move, right? They're cutting a hole in some other guy's house. Now, if you do that, your neighbor's going to be ticked. Don't go dig a hole in your neighbor's roof and say, hey, sorry about the hole in your roof. I just wanted to drop in for dinner. That's not a good idea. And not only are they cutting a hole in someone's roof, they are interrupting Jesus. And when Jesus saw their faith, he said to the paralytic, son, your sins are forgiven. Now, this is not what they were expecting, but this was the first recorded instance of Jesus forgiving someone for their sins. Jesus was making a very clear statement. He was more than just a man. Jesus was God. Now, some teachers of the law were sitting there thinking to themselves, why does this fellow talk like that? He's blaspheming. Who can forgive sins but God alone? And immediately Jesus knew in his spirit that this was what they were thinking in their hearts. And he said to them, why are you thinking these things? Which is easier, to say to the paralytic that your sins are forgiven, or to say, get up, take your mat and walk? That had to absolutely freak out the Pharisees. How did Jesus know what they were thinking? And it had to be tense in the room. Jesus against the Pharisees. But it was a good question. Anyone could say your sins are forgiven. No one could say get up and walk. If you could heal the man, you must have the power to forgive him as well. The verse continues, but that you may know the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins. He said to the paralytic, I tell you, get up, take your mat, and go home. He got up, took his mat, and walked out in full view of them all. This amazed everyone, and they praised God, saying, we have never seen anything like this. The crowd went absolutely crazy. You would too. The quiet house was out of control. The Pharisees probably snuck out of the side door because they were embarrassed. Jesus made them look stupid. And this guy picked up his mat and walked out the door. And what an incredible story. But here's what I noticed the most about this story. It's fascinating to me that Jesus knew exactly what the paralytic needed. Now, we all know that he was paralyzed and needed to walk, but Jesus knew that that man needed forgiveness more than anything else. And we all make a list of the things we want or the things we think we need: game systems, cars, money, relationships, more followers. But Jesus knows what we really need. Jesus knows. Jesus knew all along. None of this is a surprise to him. And like Jesus knew the thought of the Pharisees, he knows your thoughts. He knows what's in your heart. He knows everything about you. And my prayer for you this week is that you will go to Jesus, not with your wants, but with your needs, and allow him to forgive you and heal you and make you whole. I love you guys. Have a great week.